Well, good evening, everybody. This is a bit of a first. We are broadcasting live from San Martinho de Porto on the Silver Coast. Penny Alberton is with us. Let's bring her onto the screen. Hello, Penny. How are you?
Hi, Carl. I can hear you.
You can barely hear me because the unruly mob here, as you're saying before.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that won't matter in a while, will it? When we start tasting wine. How are things in the UK this evening?
Look, beautiful weather. It's great.
Beautiful weather. Okay, I'll turn my mic down when you're talking. And what have you got? What have you been able to get your hands on this evening?
Sorry?
What I mean, I'm talking about wine. I'm wondering what you've been able to get your hands on this evening.
Oh, right. Well, I thought, looking at the wines.
Yeah.
So I bought 2 Lisbon wines, and I've since read that the vineyard is about 100 kilometres north of us.
Well, that's not much between friends, is it? Okay, well, you'll keep us informed, I think, of what you make of the Lisbon reds. You've got 2 reds from Lisbon, is that right? A red and a white?
No, I've got a red and a white.
Oh, excellent. Okay, can we see them on the screen?
Yeah. This one has already been used a bit.
Oh, you started there. Okay, so Penny's got a Lisboa red.
My husband used some of it, so he made a casserole with it tonight.
He made a casserole with it. It's that good, is it? Okay, excellent. And what's the other one?
It's good old Porto.
Oh, Porto. You know the Porto, Chris. Okay, so we're turning Chris's mic. We can. Okay, all right. So, well, thanks for being here tonight, Penny. The other wine ninjas in the room are Gary and Linda are here as well. If I turn the camera around, you'll be able to see them. And I'll give you a little bit of a...
I can hear the dulcet brummy tones.
You can hear the brummy tones, can you? There we go. There they are. In the bar tonight. How about that? It's like a quiz show host. Very good. That's David, the bar owner here. We've got a few other people who can see this. So, Chris, did you want to start tonight with a look at the Chardonnay? Are you going to do a Chardonnay? Yeah. Okay, all right. So, should we call some people who might want to do that? Ladies and gents, who would like to come and try the 2 Chardonnays? The France versus Portugal Chardonnay taste test. Yes.
You said that.
Oh, okay.
Never mind.
Okay.
The idea of this evening.
Sorry.
Don't worry. The idea of this evening was to taste a Chardonnay made locally, actually quite near Alcobaça, and a Chardonnay made in Burgundy, a Chablis. Yeah. So, because why not taste the difference? So in these bottles, which are numbered, but you can't see what is what, there is a Burgundy Chablis and there is a Chardonnay from a local wine producer. So I've labeled the bottles 1 and 2, okay? So if you've all got a glass, or we can get some glasses, I'll start with number 1. I've got some little pieces of paper here. If somebody wants to write down what they like, we can, or you just taste it, and then we do a hands up comparison out at the end, yeah?
Okay,
So
thank you very much. So if you'd like to get yourself a glass while Chris introduces himself, because we haven't done that bit yet. Chris, what brings you here?
Again.
Sorry, yeah.
Again. Well, I'm really happy this evening because some of the guests in the bar helped us bring in the grapes a few days ago.
Oh, okay, we've got some grape pickers here.
We've got the grape pickers.
Grape picking.
Only 2 days ago, we got the grapes.
So you've got a production going on at the moment?
Yes, we got grapes turning into a
Fantastic. Okay, so there's a well-deserved drink for those folks. So are you going to, Martin, could you help us with the pouring? Are we going number 1? I can do the pouring. All right, be careful with that microphone.
Okay, question Martin, you do the pouring. Number 1. No,
Chris just went off with a microphone there.
100%.
Okay.
100%
100% Chardonnay. Okay.
I've only got the 1 bottle, okay, but it should go around.
Just a thimble full each, everybody. Okay.
So this is number 1, just to smell and to taste. Number 1.
Let's show you the room now.
A little bit less, Martin, because otherwise it won't go.
Get
around.
easy, Martin.
Martin, a bit less. Less. The table over there.
Something over there. This is the wonderful Azimuth Bar overlooking San Martinho de Porto. Easy on the bar. Okay, can we have the Austins over there and our friends from the United States as well this evening?
Okay, fine. Stop.
Whoa.
Okay, stop. Anybody here? These people? Yes.
Please, I'll have one as well if that's all right.
So who hasn't got number one?
Penny, for you in the UK, we're going with the white first, the white tasting.
So, anyone else? Anybody else hasn't got number one? This is number one.
Easy. It used to be a sound recording. Back in the day. Thank you, Martin. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, if you stay with us, Chris, that'll be good.
Yes, I will.
If you take care of business.
Glue me to the chair.
Glue you to the chair. There are people holding it up and looking at it in the lights. They're professionals, aren't they?
So anybody who hasn't got, you don't have to drink it out because you're going to get a second glass for number two.
Okay.
Okay. So
some camera work.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you don't have to finish it, but try number one and number two. Just give it. Now, who wants number two? Everybody in the second glass.
Any first impressions on number one? Anybody?
No,
Not everybody. Sorry, Chris.
All right.
Can't get ahead of it. I like it. It's not like the old days, is it?
It's like trying to herd monkeys, sir.
Did you hear that, Penny? Got told off.
What, oh, did
Very
you?
clear. Did you hear that? Somebody saying very clear?
Yeah,
You'd hope so with a white
talking
wine.
about number one or number two, it doesn't matter.
Did someone say sulfites as well then?
No, it's not. It's not.
What about you, Penny? How's it looking in your glass of white there?
It's going down very well, nice and crisp and dry.
Can we see your label there in Lisbon or from Lisbon? Oh, the Porto say they do a white, do they? I thought we said that as a white. Oh, I always said that as a red.
Red and a white.
Okay.
Rosé, they
Ooh,
do rosé.
Okay, we've got lots of comments coming in as well from around the world. Rowdy bunch in the background, it's true, and it's only going to get worse, I suspect. Sharon H, good evening, friends. Cheers, everybody. Really hard to understand what is being said with the background noise. Connie, sorry, Chris. We are here in Chicago land, says Steve Welton. Voila, from a Facebook user there. So great, wish I was there. Sharon, we'll do our best to minimize the background noise. We've got a bit of a hubbub at the moment. People are drinking, they get rowdy when they're doing that, don't they? So we're drinking a Casa do Mirage from the Dow, which is a white over there in Chicago. Steve and Tammy are drinking a Dow white, a Casa do Mirage over there.
Casa de Mirage is a really lovely lady. She is an organic wine.
Yeah.
And they had a big fire there a few years ago. And I think it was 3 years ago now, and they've rebuilt the winery. She's a fantastic lady. Above all, the wines are very famous here and very well loved.
Good to know. Nice bit of background. There you go, Steve. You got the blessing of Chris there for that. And watching from Porto this evening. Even though I'm enjoying sober October. Ooh, so sorry to hear that. Encruzada. Well done. Keep up the good work, Michael. Thank you for joining us tonight. Love to Cheryl and the family, of course. Encruzada. Superb. Okay, are you going to take control of this situation?
I don't know. Shall I ask the people now?
Customarily, then we just.
Yeah.
Can we have your attention, please, everybody, for Chris?
Have you evaluated the wines? Do you know it? So, who likes number one? Number one. Who prefers number one? No? Who prefers number one? Who likes number one best? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Who likes number 2 best?
Oh, look at that, the French people over there. Is that a giveaway?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're going for the big reveal now, aren't we?
Yes, we're going for the big reveal.
Okay, let's turn that round.
Number 2 is
Yes, thank
the
you.
Chablis.
Chablis is yes.
Number one is the Capuchos
There it is.
Chardonnay, which is made very near here. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, very good.
But I think this is really interesting because the second one, the Chablis, is fruit de chêne. It's oak barrels, and the Chardonnay from Capuchos is without oak. Yeah.
Penny would like to speak to us. Have we got volume coming out of your laptop over there, Garbo? Penny, please go ahead.
No, I was just waving at Gary.
Oh, he's just waving it. She's just waving at Gary. Okay, fine. That's done then. Very good.
So, I think personally I like number 1 because it's very fruity and it's. I'm not a big oak fan, but I think it's a very good Chardonnay for this area. Interestingly, the Chablis costs 18 euros and that costs 5 euros. Yeah. Okay. Number 1.
Has that changed people's minds?
Number 1 costs 5 euros and number 18 euros.
Wow, okay.
This charge is very nice, really very nice.
Very good.
But I think the French, they know their wines. They like their oaks, you know.
They're pointing at us over there as well. Can we have a comment from the French, Anglo-French table? What would you like to say about the French wine?
Personally, I thought the body was a bit stronger than the other one.
Okay.
The body of the
second one
Right.
was crisper.
Like a French lover in a way.
Well,
Yeah.
it was,
Stronger
for
body.
me personally,
Yes.
you know, I prefer a Sauvignon anyway.
Yes, the Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
Which is next, right? We're going to this.
Cabernet. The other one, if I ordered it in a restaurant, I would be disappointed. But then if you ask me which of the two I prefer, we all seem to have the same idea.
Well, let's go to the grape pickers. Martin, what's your comment? Sorry, was that just heckling, or did you like to say? The grape pickers from
I have to agree with the question.
Yeah.
It's a bigger one.
Which one, number 2?
No, the Alcabasso one.
It's a bigger one.
It's a bigger one.
Yes.
It's more intense. And there's a lot of fruit on it. More fruit than on the Chablis. I'm not a fan of Chablis. As soon as I tasted the Chablis, that's Chablis.
Yes,
Yeah. And
the
then if I
dryness.
had- You know, if I had it dry, I would have a Burgundy, but Burgundies are quite expensive. White Burgundy is expensive.
Yeah.
Expensive Chardonnay. So I would have this gentleman, yeah, Sancerre or a White Burgundy. Chablis.
Very good. Thank you very much, Martin. And any other comments from the grape pickers? They're all tired from the weekend.
Chablis is a very crisp wine.
Yeah.
And clearly number 2, the first one had more flavour, more fruit.
Yeah, and
Which
has good
Chablis
acidity as
tends not
well.
to have, it just tends to be very crisp and dry.
Mhm.
Well, it's down to whether or not you actually like the type of wine we're tasting.
Yes.
If you don't like Chardonnay, then you don't like any Chardonnay, no matter where it's from.
No, but I think the Quinta dos Capuchos is a very good wine for that money. You know, it's fresh.
I would prefer to drink number 1.
Oh, yeah,
I put my hand up for number 1. I don't know, because Chablis is a little bit too clean.
Yes.
It hasn't got
Which one? The Chablis.
Chablis is a little bit too
I think it loses a bit of fruit and puts a bit of oak in there.
Yeah.
Definitely get the oak.
Okay, well, let's go. Thank you very much for that. So let's go to Garbo, Gary Austin. Do you want to come a bit closer, Gary? Or are you happy over there? Come on, have a chat with us over here. Come a bit closer. Right.
Right. Now then,
I'm the problem child as normal.
Say that again.
I'm the problem child as normal.
Come even closer. It's going to help. Actually, I'm going to share my microphone with you. Penny can't hear us where she is. Go on, talk into that.
Okay, I'm the problem child as far as this is concerned.
Yeah, go on.
Because Chardonnay is probably my least favourite wine. And you know me and French wines really.
Yes, that awkward relationship.
Yes, and strangely enough, I've had 2 wines here now, 2 white wines which I fear. Sauvignon Blanc
Yeah,
and now Chardonnay.
yeah.
I like number 1. Because number 1 has got a deeper flavour and more about it.
Yes.
Number 2 is a bit thin, a bit citrusy and a bit sharp for me.
Yeah.
But I found a Chardonnay I like.
How about that? Good missionary work there.
Well done. Well
Yeah.
done. Good choice.
Thank you very much, Garbo. Okay, let's go to Devon in the UK. How is the Porto Station wine? And what do you have to say about the Porto Station, Chris? You're going to say something about that.
It's quite interesting actually, because where we live used to be a big wine grape growing area, and now the company Vini-Gumpers, who makes Porto, buys all their grapes from just around the corner where we live. It's a very big winery. They buy the grapes from local farmers, and they have their own fields. It all goes up to the rear, where they make the Porto wine, which is very successful. A lot of people like it.
Okay, there you go. What do you think about it, Penny?
Are you talking to me now, Carl?
Yeah. Sorry, yes, this is an unusual scenario for us, isn't it?
I need my hearing aid in today.
Okay.
It is actually really nice, and in fact, I would say describing the way people describe the second one.
Yeah.
Sounds a little bit like this one. It's very clean and fresh. Very nice.
Okay. So more like the French, perhaps.
After we've done the tasting, we'll put the bottles on round as well.
Okay. Thank you, Penny. Thank you for bearing with while we're in these unusual circumstances. I think you want
I
to
was
add
quite
something.
interested. I saw, when I was looking for the wine, I saw an Italian shop that I've never seen before, and I was quite tempted to get that one. That
An
would have been
Italian Chardonnay, Chris. Have you heard of that?
Don't know it.
Don't know it. So yeah, maybe next time, Penny, you can let us know what that's like. Very good. All right, thank you very much. What's it like being alone at home, like the old days on Zoom when we used to do wine tasting, and then hearing at the other end here a rowdy bunch of people?
I feel like a right Billy No, mate.
Oh, Penny!
Where-
Did you hear that, Carlo? She's like Billy No Mates in UK. Oh, okay.
Where is she?
She's in Dartmouth. No, not Brixham. In the United. Oh, bear with then, Penny, and we'll see what we can do to help you feel like you've got some friends tonight. We've got Barb Beatrick saying, looks wonderful. Hello from Wisconsin, USA. Just after 2 in the afternoon here. A little early for wine. Too early for wine. What are you talking about? Michael. Well, John's saying what could possibly go wrong. Michael responding here. It's a very good validation for not moving down here. Yeah, to the drunken south of Portugal. And Michael Blair says, there ain't no party, this ain't no fooling around, give it half an hour and watch the train fly off the rail. We shall see about that. Thanks for being here tonight, John and Michael. Thank you so much. So shall we move on to the campaign and drink the wine that you found? Yes, we can do that. Okay, let's get that set up. Linda's coming in. What did you think of the Chardonnay, Linda? In the hot seat.
I liked number 1 very much. It's got a lovely, delicate flavour. There was no acidity. It was just really very pleasant to drink. The second one, I wasn't so keen on. I didn't actually like the smell of it so much.
Yeah, I get you.
And I found it a bit acidic. So for me, number 1 wins.
Number 1, the Capuchos, the Portuguese.
Yes.
White chocolate. Fantastic. Excellent stuff. Are you a red or a white? Do you favour, generally speaking?
I generally go for red.
I thought so.
But
Yeah.
I found that of late I've tried quite a few Portuguese white wines that I really like. So
Something is interesting is happening in your household. Isn't it? Whites.
yeah,
Yeah, Garbo was saying the same thing. So he's found a Chardonnay he likes.
yeah. I definitely like that number 1. Yeah.
Brilliant. There you go. That's a great missionary word there, Chris. When it comes to Portuguese wines. Thank you, Linda. Appreciate
It's
it.
very near to buy.
Yes.
Do you know these little vegetable shops named Copper?
Yeah.
Copper, they sell vegetables, local vegetables. They have that wine in the shop. I think it costs
At about
£5.90 in the shop.
Very
You go to the Kinji, it costs £4.80.
Very good, very nice.
Thank you very much, Linda. Is it? Sorry, did you want to add anything? Rose, yeah, do you want to share any tasting notes over there from America?
Yes.
Come on, come and join in the hot seat, if you will.
Sit down.
Please, yes.
And I'm talking about these wines, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I thought they were both very good wines, and I wrote down. I said, number 2 was I thought was more subtle,
Yeah.
and I think, but it had more complexity though. It was subtler, kind of lighter, but it had more complexity to it. It was really light and smooth, and has a clean finish. Number 1, I felt like it had more body, and it rather kind of a more of intense flavor. That was the one that was oaked, right? The number
2 was
number,
oaked.
oh, number 2 was oaked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Two was oaked. Number
Yeah.
one was oaked.
So it seemed like number 1 had almost like a little flavor of maybe pineapple and apricot in it.
Yes.
Possibly. You think? Yeah. So. But I definitely thought number 1 was more, kind of a stronger, more intense wine.
Perfect.
But I thought they were both excellent. Excellent.
Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah,
Appreciate
my
it.
pleasure.
And it's available here, just around the corner.
Well, all right. Well, I will definitely get in line for some.
Excellent.
Do you live in San Martinho?
Yes.
So if you go to Alcapasa, there's a shop there called Granja which sells local produce.
Okay.
They have it there.
Okay.
And there's a little shop called Copper. It's a wooden house which is in most towns. They sell vegetables and stuff.
Uh-huh.
They have it in there as well.
Do they sell it here in San Martino?
Yes, but I don't know where. If they have a copper shop, they sell it. They may sell it in the supermarket, but I doubt it.
We'll
And
track
nothing
it
wrong
down.
with the trip over to Alcapasa.
We'll track it down.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
fantastic.
walk everywhere. We walk. We don't even have transportation. We just walk everywhere.
I'll bring you some over.
All right then.
Penny! It's very different to
It's
the
a
old
pity
days
she's
of
not
the
with
Zooms,
us,
when
you
we
know,
were
it's a
on the
pity
screen
she's
together.
not with us.
We've got, sorry, say that again, Chris.
It's a pity she's not with us.
Isn't it, Jeff?
Can't we teleport her over for a few hours?
Can we teleport you over for a few hours, Chris? We want to teleport you over. She can't hear us, I don't think. This is proving a little bit difficult with the connection over in Devon there. Should we get ready for the cortege?
Yeah.
Should we go for the cortege? Yes, that's a good idea. I'll have a little chat with you. So you've got your white there. I didn't know they did white as well as red. Are you going to move on to the red now? Or are you? Is it down to you to finish both bottles this evening? You can't even. Oh, funny. What I'm going to do then, I don't think you can hear me, and we're just making us sit on the screen for an hour without engaging with anybody. So let me just relieve you of that burden, Penny, and I'll finish you behind the scenes, if I may. We've got Chris we're going to get the red now. I'll just try Penny one more time. Penny, can you actually hear me?
I can hear you now. It's got a bit hit and miss.
Sorry, I can see this might well be a bit of an endurance test for you. So if you, I don't want
What
to.
a great pictures you've got next to you.
They're the ones, aren't they? They're the really noisy ones. This has been quite the experiment this evening, having a mixture of the old wine ninjas on screen and having people tasting the wine. I think Garbo might be sending you a message from his tablet from the other side of the room. So Penny, understand if you don't want to stay on the screen, but you're very welcome to as well. What would you like to do?
I'll just stay here, just ignore me.
Oh, that's very good. I'm very pleased that you want to do that. So thank you very much, and we'll come back to you if that's all right. So, are we moving into red territory now, Chris? Are we moving into red territory?
Moving into red.
Okay, so I'd like you to tell us the backstory of this as well. Ladies and gents, can we have your attention for the next tasting, please? Who'd like to taste the Cortain Red? Yes, okay. Do you want to step forward and fill your glass with the Cortain Red?
I'll serve.
Yeah, okay.
So the next wine is only, I'm afraid, the Cortem's Cabernet Sauvignon 217. I bought a bottle of Bordeaux to do a comparison. I left it at home. So I'm very sorry about that. So all we have now is a wine we made in Cortem. We made. They helped to pick the grapes.
Shout out to the grape pickers again.
It's a very dry Cabernet Sauvignon. I think it's one of the best ones we made. I think it's a classical, I wouldn't say Bordeaux style, but I'd say a French style. I hope the French people like it. It's quite mature already, but I think it will get better with the years. And yes, it's a 100% Cabernet Sauvignon. There's no Petit Verdot or Merlot. Never mind. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon.
How long have you been making these Cortain wines, Chris? When did it start?
We made our first commercial wine was 2006. So the first years we planted the grapes in 2001. And we weren't living in our house, so most of the wine went bad. But when we started living in the house, the wines became quite good. So 2006 was our first wine. So we've been making wine since 2006. And now we usually bring the wines out at least 2 years after they've been two years old, because we ferment.
It's okay. It's all right, everybody. That wasn't a shooting here in the wine bar. But okay, we're good.
We decided we wanted to make very dry wines, so we ferment a long time. So the wines have a lot of tannins in the beginning, and we don't use oak barrels, so it's only stainless steel, and the wine needs 5 years before it's drinkable. Yeah, but then it's quite drinkable. So this wine is 217. It's now 222. So it's exactly 5 years old.
And what does it feel like to have made this wine, all of you, not just Chris? I think that's everybody. And to know that it's been there waiting in the bottle. I mean, is that a great test of patience? What's it like to be a winemaker and think, okay, I'm going to leave it for another year?
No, I think the wine decides it's going to be good very early. You know,
Okay.
it decides, and if you look after it and don't do too many things to it, it will be good.
Okay.
So if you have a wine which didn't start off very well, it maybe the grapes were not very good, or you made a mistake, then it might come back to you and say, here I am,
Yeah.
or it may say adeus.
That's it.
And,
I'm out of here.
But we only ever had 2 wines we had to throw away, yeah?
Right.
And many wines have come back after 5 or 6 years, even after 10 years of not being very good for 5, they came back.
Wow.
But
have you kept wines from the original year, 2006?
I think Helga has in her cave, she has 1 or 2 from 2006.
Wow,
But
that's a special occasion.
they're not the best anymore. They're past. They're past.
Right.
But the main thing is not to make any mistakes and to have good grapes and look after them, and then the wine will make itself. We don't do any filtering or anything like that. So it's just the grape juice.
Right.
A little bit of sulfite, that's it.
And you're an organic producer, and that's part of the organic approach, presumably.
Well, yes, we're certified, so we get inspections. The fields are inspected once a year.
Right.
And if they think you're putting stuff on, they'll take a leaf and they'll analyze it. And we don't put any stuff on, so we've come through all that. You're not allowed to do various things. You have to keep grass between the rows and grow cover crops and things like that.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to plow up. You're not allowed to use new types of herbicides. You're not allowed to use herbicides at all. You have to cut the grass, yeah?
Wow.
Or have animals to eat the grass, yeah? And to treat the various fungus diseases, you're only allowed sulfur and copper sulfate, which is, or calda bordelaise, which is the standard thing they've been using for almost 100 years. Yeah.
Amazing. Any questions for Chris? Anybody? Our winemaker who's here with us tonight? What's it like working for Chris as a grape picker? Dare you say?
Really
hard work. There are people making whip cracking gestures here.
Chris, that's 11 hours. Can we go home now?
Really? Is it like that?
We haven't.
Can we have a drink now, please? Some water.
We have had some difficult days, I tell you.
Really?
There have been difficult days.
Wow. Any questions for Chris while we have him here this evening about making red wine locally, of course? I call you a local legend. You're I think you're quite modest about that, Chris, but I think it's an amazing achievement to have come to Portugal and started to grow grapes and then make wine out of them. I think that's an epic thing to do.
I think we fell into it. My wife and I, Helga, we like to drink our wine.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a field in the beginning. We just had the house. And the owner said, "Would you like to buy this field?" And I think that was the beginning of it.
That was it. And then you said, "Yes, we will." And then you grew some grapes. Fantastic. Should we drink it? And
Sorry?
What's the same thing about Chris's wine? Okay.
Yeah.
It's he makes the wine in Portugal.
Yeah.
But it's not Portuguese. It's not Portuguese style.
Right. As an observation from Martin, there, you make the wine in Portugal, but you don't have it as a Portuguese wine, Martin.
It doesn't. It tastes quite different to most Portuguese wines.
Why would that be, Chris?
Well, there's a
Guilty as charged.
No, the reason why our wines are not Portuguese wines, we ferment till there's no sugar left, and Portuguese wines tend to have a little of sugar. Yeah, they only ferment their wines maybe for 10 days, and then they finish the fermentation in the tank or maybe in a barrel. But we finish the fermentation in big tubs on the skins for 10 days. And when the skins sink, which means the fermentation is finished, then we press the wine. And it gives very intense wines and very dry wines.
So are you seen as a bit of a heretic or an unorthodox winemaker here?
Maybe, yes, I think so. Yeah, maybe. I hope so. I hope so.
Right, that's David, who is the bar owner here at Azimuth. Yeah, if I change can we raise a glass to David?
Yeah, David.
And promise to come back
Yes.
to this lovely bar here and maybe get something to eat and maybe order a mojito a bit later on from David, who I hear makes a wicked mojito. Here he is. You can have a drink with us as well. That's fantastic. So do come to the bay and enjoy food and drink here at Azimuth.
What do you think, Martin?
Okay, let's see what we think.
It's nice and smooth. Smooth.
C'est bon, mes amis.
C'est très bon, mes amis. Very good. So, cheers.
Cheers.
It's not often you get to sit in the same room as the person who
C'est
made the
très
wine.
jeune aussi, mais c'est bon. Yeah?
Presumably you've done your own at-home comparison with the Burgundy that you were going to bring tonight. How do you rate it in that comparison? Is it too difficult to say because it's your own wine?
No, well, actually, we did. No, I didn't know. I didn't.
You never did?
No, I didn't open it.
Oh, okay. All right.
So look, here's a little anecdote, which I would like to, Martin, can we have a little chat with you? I'd like to just introduce Martin Ryan here, because Martin was the first man who gave us great courage and said something very nice about our wines now about, how many, 5 or 6 years ago?
Yeah.
6 years ago.
Well, no, I'm not that. No, I'm only here 4 years, Chris.
Martin
so
is
4 years.
Yeah, 4 years. Martin is quite a wine enthusiast and his knowledge. And one day he knocked on my window and he said, "Chris, it was a Syrah. Do you remember what you said, Martin? I've forgotten. You said it was
a Syrah 2011.
It was a Syrah 2011. And he knocked on my window. I said, "Had you been to us before?"
No.
He hadn't been, but he drunk this wine in a bar or somewhere in a restaurant. He says, "Chris, this wine is like a côte rôtie." You know côte rôtie? Côte rôtie is a Côte d'Iron appellation. And quite famous and quite expensive. Quite expensive. So after he said your Syrah is like a côte rôtie, we began to believe in ourselves. Yeah.
That's amazing, Martin. So you tracked down the winemaker because you appreciated his wine so much.
Which?
Yes,
Yeah.
he tracked.
Oh yes, I did.
Well, I mean, Chris said you knocked on his window.
It was a restaurant in Paris.
Right.
And I showed the wine list. Now I like single varieties, okay, as opposed to blends. Because blends are a minefield because you don't know what the percentages are. At least I'm used to drinking single varieties.
Yeah.
And I have been for the last 40 odd years. So I know where I am with a single variety, whether it be it's a Syrah or a Cabernet.
Wow.
And I tasted the Syrah 2011 and I did like it. So
You tracked him down.
Oh yeah, I was going to do that.
And then you got invited to pick the grapes and make the wine as well.
He got invited to blend our wines. did some blending together.
No, we didn't do the blending.
It's coming.
No, we
It's
didn't do
coming.
the blending. We done other aspects. We did the pruning and I did planting. But I only actually did a harvest for 1 year.
Could you tell us more about your appreciation of Kristen in Cortain? You're saying that it's made in Portugal, but it's not a classic Portuguese wine. Any other observations?
Well, most of his wines would be international grapes: Syrah, Petit Syrah, Cabernet, Merlot.
Mm.
But he would use and blend some Portuguese grapes with Cabernet or with Syrah, whatever.
Okay.
I still say, and I don't know whether he gives me the deaf ear or not, but I still say Pinot Noir is excellent in that Cortem region, because Cortem is in valleys,
Yeah.
okay? And Cortem, some mornings it gets a bit of a mist. Pinot Noir doesn't like too much. Likes a little bit of coolness in the morning, a little bit of mist, and then heats up during the day. The other thing is, and this is so obvious, you take a line of latitude from, let's say, Lisbon, or even we say from Kalashi, it cuts across the globe, heading west
Right.
through California. California, the two most successful grapes in California are Cabernet, Pinot, but you must have cool air from Pinot Noir, unlike the others.
Fascinating. Is that why the Romans like growing wine so much in Portugal? We're at a similar latitude to parts of Italy as well. Is that right?
I have no idea what grapes they grew in back then. So
Okay. Fair point.
We asked them.
Not even Chris knows that. Okay.
No, Pinot Noir is quite a delicate grape.
Yes.
And when it's made well, it's a beautiful. And it's you can have,
You've tried our Pinot, haven't you?
oh yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I saw that Pinot field, but never mind.
Martin is gutted. The Pinot Noir field was sold. Martin, thanks very much. Thank you very much.
He gave us a lot of confidence.
Amazing. Penny, have you got any questions?
Does Martin know where Brixham sits on the line? Because I've got Chardonnay and Pinot Noir in my garden.
Martin, Penny, who's joined us from the UK, she says she's got Chardonnay and Pinot Noir in her garden in Brixham in Devon. So it can't be. It must be some other, I don't know, sub variety.
Yes, no,
Because it's very different.
It doesn't like too much heat. Pinot Noir likes heat, but it doesn't like too much heat.
Okay.
I mean, my daughter actually texted me from Australia, and she says a friend of mine, she said, is celebrating her 40th birthday. She said she likes Barossa
That's
Shiraz.
Penny who asked the question, by the way, on the screen.
I'm answering a different answer than the question. But anyway, she said, my friend likes Barossa Shiraz and Pinot Noir. Okay. I came back, she said, give me some recommendations, Dad. I gave her some recommendations. And I said, well, first and foremost, forget about Pinot Noir in Australia. It's very difficult to grow. Most places are too hot. Go to New Zealand if you want to.
Okay.
Shiraz, they grow very successfully.
Yeah.
And I picked one from the Barossa Valley. Big, it's like spoons, big, jammy. But they love the Shiraz. Yeah, really do.
Martin, how have you got to be such an encyclopedic?
Oh, wow. Well, I started as a hobby in the 80s.
What, drinking?
I'm drinking.
All of it, yes. Oh, no, I was drinking much earlier than that, Carl.
Okay. But it's just a lifelong
I had a little
love.
small cellar at home, yeah.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of money on it. To the extent that, I started a level. This is when I was working and I had a good income. I would just typical lifestyle, I suppose. Unless it's X, I don't want to know anything below that because life's too short. And what's the point of thinking about it?
Well, that's interesting. So, what have you made of coming to Portugal then? Because Portugal, does it for you rate in among the greatest wines of the world in that attitude you just described?
Sorry, no. When people ask me, what's your favorite one?
Yeah.
I never give a name. I always say, well, I'll give you my favorite wine.
Yeah.
My country. Cabernet Sauvignon, probably US, California, French would disagree.
Of course they would. and what's it like then for you to live in Portugal? Given, I mean, you know,
I came for climate.
yeah,
Cost of living. If I had a choice, if it was a similar climate in France,
yeah,
I probably would have opted for France because of the cuisine and their abundance of choice
Yeah.
of wines. But they have a long
yeah.
wine.
But it must be really quite odd for you to go to a Portuguese supermarket and see mainly only Portuguese wines. The whole wall is just regions of Portugal, isn't it? Which is quite unusual anywhere in the world, I would have thought.
I mean, I was in the Estada Liquada yesterday,
Yeah.
which is on the main road.
Yes, yes.
I had a good look around. I was looking for whites. No. Whites in relation to reds is about 80-20. They don't display a lot of whites. I don't think a lot of whites made in relation to reds. But the reds are made for the market. It is a money thing at the end of the day. It is ginger.
Yeah.
You know, the supply of product to suit the market. And also supply the volume as well.
Yes.
That's why a lot of the Portuguese wines are drinking, because they don't stay on the shelf for very long. So if I go into a wine shop, buy a lot of wine, the first thing I look for is bottle.
Okay.
Just so I don't knock the corners off the wine.
Knock the corners off, yes, as Chris was saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Some of them can be quite rough.
Yes. Yeah.
And the difficulty is subtlety isn't in it.
Yeah.
There's no subtleties.
Okay.
Because they have consistently good
Yeah.
there's no variance.
Okay.
It's like chili, Argentina. They don't have, apart from El Nino, maybe the other one, but the variance in sunshine is very, very small.
Okay. So you can get consistency.
Someone said to me, if you were to introduce a red wine to somebody who never drank it before, to say, well, how would we start with France? Let's start with Chile.
Yeah.
Maybe South Africa.
Yeah.
Because I know before, I just look at a label and go, try that.
Yeah.
Someone who's never drank red wine needs big, fruity, bordering on sweet.
Do you know?
Get a dry red, I'll never go back to college. Oh, that's stuff now. I don't know what the fascination is with it.
Yeah.
I'll never start anybody with that.
Okay, well, we've got some interesting questions. You've struck up the most amazing thread of conversation here. Ginny is just joining us on screen. Hi, Ginny. Sorry, you might not be able to hear us very well. I'm assuming you want to join us. But Martin, thank you so much for being with us. We've got some responses to what you've been saying. This one is for Chris. What is the name of Chris's winery we're missing? It's Cortain, isn't it? Cortem, pronounced Cortain. That's what he founded back in 2006. And Carl, what Californian Cabernet Sauvignon is your favourite gentleman who now lives in Portugal? That's for you, I think, Martin. Your favourite Californian Cabernet Sauvignon. Do they go in those two words go in the same sentence?
Frog's Leap.
Frog's Leap. Look at this. He's name checking. We need to get you on, I think, in a quiet studio to talk to you about this. Okay, well, I think Oregonians, these are people living in Oregon who are asking you this question. They might fly you over.
Okay. One of the best wines on the planet is from Oregon.
Did you hear that,
A
OLP?
wonderful Pinot in Oregon because of its geographical position.
From what you were saying
It's
before.
further north towards Canada.
Okay, one of the finest Pinot Noirs on the planet, OLP, in your state there. What did Martin say about whites? I think it was the 80-20 rule you were talking about with whites.
Yeah, I'd say about 80-20.
What, in Portugal?
I'm just talking about one of the biggest outlets in this area.
Oh, how they prioritise red over white because that's the common palate.
And they don't segregate red from white because if they did, you'd see a huge disparity in relation to
Volume and shot. Oh, okay, all right. Okay, so I think we want Martin to take us out buying wine, I think. Portuguese grapes can be absolutely amazing. We do love our region, but then we are very biased. Yes, you are. We've noticed that, Pete. And another question, what is happening here? It's a good question. We are tasting wine in a new format here. It's the Good Morning Portugal Wine and Food and Wine Club. The sound is so bad, Carl. Yeah, I think we probably need to give it a rest. Is there any way of moving somewhere a little quieter? Probably not, Martin. I would love to talk to you in a different environment at some point, if we could do that. This is a man who knows his Portuguese wine. I think we'll have to call it a day. But before we do, let's go to the Austin household in Alvarez. Good evening to you, John and Jenny. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Well, can you hear anything that's going on? It's quite a difficult environment here. We need a good sound man like Chris.
Yeah, it's a lot of noise.
So how are you two before we go? How are you?
Very good, thank you. Very good.
Have you managed to, when you work with Chris, what do you think of the Corte wines?
What do I think of the Corte wine? It's marvellous, really. Seriously, it's very soft, very fruity. It's got this kind of like raisin smell to it, with dark fruits.
You have to taste.
A peppery finish, which is really good. Really nice.
Yes.
So it's something that's going to go with so much food. It's difficult not to have what it could go with.
You can enjoy it on its own, or you can enjoy it with food. I think it's good. But we had it with chicken, and it went with chicken.
Yeah, I remember now. Ginny, do you remember last time when Terence got Star Pupil Award from Chris?
Yes.
I think he's still trading on that, isn't he, this time round? We remember now. Terence. Say hi.
Trading on what?
On being the best reviewer.
Yes.
Last time, I think, and you really impressed Chris with your tasting now. So thank you for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it.
Sorry we're late. We didn't realise it started at 8.
Don't worry. Don't worry. It usually is 9. Everyone else will turn up. Frank will be here in 11 minutes time, just 2 minutes after 9.
And Gary and Linda, I think, are visiting you in San Martino.
Gary and Linda? There they are.
There
they are. Here in the bar. So before you go, and before we get Penny to review a Porto, I need to get Chris. Sorry to disturb you, Chris. Chris, can you just have a word with these two on the screen here? You might know these two folks. I know he's gone off to more regular. There he goes. He's run off. He's married. I'll pass on your best regards while we have the review of Porto Sage. This might be we're not with Martin.
Thank you.
Penny, Porto Sage, red and white. Can we have a final review of the evening from you on those two?
Well, actually, unusually, I'm enjoying the red.
Shall I plug it in?
Mellow. It's more mellow than a Cabernet Sauvignon. Presumably it's a blended. It's really mellow, really nice, really chill, perfect for an autumn evening.
Oh yeah.
Look who are these two.
Look at these two. So that was the red. What about the white, Penny? What do you make of the white?
Well, my white was really nice, and you know I like.
Hi John, hi Ginny.
So that was very nice, very crisp, very refreshing, really nice.
Thank you for reviewing those two. Those are wines that people can get around the world from Portugal. Thank you very much.
Those were my really nice.
Thank you so much. Did you want to say hi to?
Yes, of course.
Oh, hold on a minute. We can't see you, Chris. Now let's bring it back around so you can see. There you go. Yes, man.
Hi, Chris.
Lovely to see you. Pity you're not here tonight. But anyway, soon.
Yeah, it's earlier than we thought it was.
I can't hear you. He can hear.
I can hear, but yeah, we've got to get this sound thing sorted out. But we're looking forward to drinking with you in that Roman orgy scene that you're painting, Terence. And even modelling for you.
We're drinking the Cabernet Sauvignon at the moment, Chris, and it's very, very nice.
Yeah, okay. You can say the same as we have here.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, we are, I think, in many ways, we're torturing people with the sound quality. It's an à la bonne night from Mrs. M back at home. Hi, Ginny and John from Pete. And it's just like being at a crowded party where you can't understand what the person next to you is saying. What? But it's somehow still fun, probably because of the wine consumption. Yes, Sharon H., that is the best review so far. How is everyone? So sweet, happy we're enjoying the pub. But Carl, where are your hosting skills? Your remote guests were left hanging there. This is M. All right, you come and do it. I'm working under some very difficult circumstances.
Yes, Louise.
Penny, thank you so much. Cheers to you. See you next time. Ginny and John, thank you so much. See you next time. We're going to call it a day here on the broadcast, and we're going to come in. We're going to be in the room now. We're going to work the room. Chris, thank you so much, by the way, Chris. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Take care, folks. We'll see you soon. Ciao, ciao, and bye for now. Let's play that closing title. Oh no, that's Get Out and Grow.